Good morning students. In the last video we were discussed what is freedom and restriction on freedom, and today we will discuss harm principles. John Stuart Mill, in his essay on liberty called Political Theory, the harm principle, Mill introduced here an important distinction. He distinguished between self-regarding action, those actions that have consequence only for the individual actors and nobody else, and other regarding actions, those actions that also have consequences for others. He argues that with respect to action or choices that affect only oneself, self-regarding actions, the state or any other external authority has no business to interfere. In contrast, with respect to action that have consequence for others, actions which may cause harm to them, there is some case for external interference. In the case, it is the state which can constrain a person from acting in a way that cause harm to someone else. Freedom is at the core of human society, is so crucial for a dignified human life. It should only be constrained in special circumstances. For minor harm, Mill recommend only social disapproval and not the force of law. People should be ready to tolerate different way of life, different point of view and different interest, so long as they do not cause harm to others. But such tolerance need not be extended to view and action which may put people in danger or foment hatred against them. In the constitutional discussion in India, the term used for such justifiable constraint is reasonable restrictions. Reasonable restrictions. The restrictions may be there, but they must be reasonable, capable of being defended by reason, not excessive, not out of proportion to the action being restricted, since then it would impinge on generally condition of freedom in society. Next topic, negative and positive liberty. In political theory, there are two types of liberty. First is negative and second is positive. Firstly, negative liberty. Negative liberty seeks to define and defend an area in which the individual would be invulnerable, in which he or she could do, be or become whatever he or she wished to do, be or become. This is an area in which no external authority can interfere. It is a minimum area that is sacred and in which whatever the individual does is not to be interfered in with. The negative liberty traditional argues for an inviolable area of non-interference in which the individual can express himself or herself. If the area is too small, then human dignity gets compromised. It is concerned with explaining the idea of freedom from. Next, second, positive liberty. Positive liberty recognizes that one can be free only in society, not outside it, and hence tries to make that society such that it enables the development of the individual, whereas negative liberty is only concerned with the inviolable area or non-interference and not with the condition in society outside this area as such. Positive liberty is concerned with looking at the conditions and nature of the relationship between the individual and society and of improving these conditions such that there are favor constant to the development of the individual personality. Next point, the individual of develop his or her capability must get the benefit of enabling positive condition in material, political and social dominance. The arguments of positive liberty are concerned with explaining the ideas of freedom too. Generally, they both go together and support each other, but it can happen that trends justify their rules by invoking arguments of positive liberty. Yes, next and last topic of this chapter, freedom of expression. Freedom of expression is a fundamental value, and for that society must be willing to bear some influences to protect it from people who want to restrict it. Concentrates of the different kind thus exist, and we are subject to them in different situations, which reflecting on which situation we need to realize that when constraints are backed by organized social, religious or cultural authority or by the might of the state, they restrict our freedom in ways that are difficult to fight against. Next point. So, freedom embodies our capacity and our ability to make choices. We have also accept responsibility for our action and their consequences. It is for their reason that most advocates of liberty and freedom maintain that children must be placed in the care of parents. Thank you.